Yep.
So
Ow. Whoops. Damn it. All right, so we're going to start just a second.
what's up?
Hola, Zilius.
¿Cómo estás? En your pantalones.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Nor should you.
Okay, well, then there you go.
That's the beauty of it.
I
It
refuse to
is a
respond.
mystery that shall forever be unknown.
I refuse to respond to that.
That's probably a wise decision. Sometimes it is better to just let it be.
But of course.
No, no, no. Go back, go back, go back. Oh. Oh dear, early bird tickets are on discount for San Diego for TwitchCon.
Woo.
Doesn't that sound exciting?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. What? Oh, interesting.
What?
My Steam wants to play on my laptop at this very moment, and it's very weird and confusing.
Strange.
Isn't that life? You're like very intent on life.
Mm.
That is very valid. Right. Are you?
What?
Hello. Hello. Interesting. It's like a weird lag. I was just testing something with my mic.
Oh. Oh, excuse me.
Do I have to?
I'm still feeling the effects of MomoCon, apparently.
Someday your body will recover. It might be 300, 50 days from now,
Uh-huh.
just in time for next year's MomoCon.
Of course.
But it'll happen.
Of course.
Maybe. If it doesn't, then, well, I wish you the best.
Sorry, I want to check something real quick here. Okay, good.
How good, sir. How good indeed.
Amazingly bueno.
Excellent. That is what I like to hear.
Yes. Alrighty.
So apparently today, Viggo Mortensen is as old as Ian McKellen when he first played Gandalf. Just to give you an idea. Time is a funny thing.
Time is a very strange thing.
And I often do not understand it, but yet we have to live by it.
But of course. Excuse me. We got 20 seconds or something before it's 8 o'clock, and then we'll start the show. At least that's what my belly tells me.
The belly's talking to you? That's creepy.
It does all the time. And what's so creepy about that?
Oh no, I'll drink to it though.
There's less creepy things that happen today. Or more exciting creepy things that happen today. However you want to look at it.
Exciting is certainly one way of putting it.
Excitingly creepy? Yeah, I think that's right. All right. Let us hit the record button. And then I will mute Zelius, and then we'll start. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Dish Shelter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Hello, good sir. How's it going on this Thursday of May?
It is going, my friend. It is going. So, ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific Connor himself, Zelios.
It is good to see you again on another Thursday.
Yes. 2 straight Thursdays. One right before MomoCon and one after. This is kind of weird. We don't do this, but we did.
But my body is appreciating the pattern because it lets me know what is actually going on with the week. Because when it's not at 8 o'clock on Thursday Eastern time, my body just falls apart.
Yes. Well, thankfully there was no other activities that Charlie had to do this evening, so we got to do our normal time.
Nice.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. At any time during the show, if you have any topics, questions, comments, concerns, opinions, just drop it in the chat, be it on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, and we will try to add it to this show. If we do run out of time, we will add it to the very next show. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And, of course, the first topic that we have to talk about is MomoCon 2024.
Wait, MomoCon happened? What?
MomoCon happened this past week. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I was in attendance on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Zelius, it was in attendance on Friday and Saturday?
That is correct. You remember something.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, MomoCon 2024 happened down at the Georgia World Congress Center. They changed some layouts. Man, basketball in the brain, huh? They changed some layouts of how the vendor hall was situated and how to get down to the vendor hall. And the attendance numbers were the highest it's ever been. And so we'll start with Zelius. What was your experience of the MomoCon?
I greatly enjoyed MomoCon. I think, so for those who didn't go, one of the big things at any convention, be it MomoCon or DragonCon, because the two moons when I go to are the vendor hall.
Yep.
And there always seems to be a bit of how to leverage the space you have or that you can grow into to best leverage the vendor hall. And then as a add-on to those things that is heavily about conventions is like the PC gaming area, the CCG gaming area, the tabletop, all those different things. And to MomoCon's credit, they've continued to expand their footprint, I think, in a very good way. I mean, when I first started going about 7-8 years ago, I mean, it was just, we don't even go over to the wing that it was in anymore. I don't even know what's over there now because it was very jam-packed. It was like one little area to get down there. And since they've gone, I think it's the B hall.
Yeah, we're in Hall B now.
Yeah, they basically take it over literally like the entire basement of the B hall to do it. Now, mind you, last year you had the base part of the B hall for the vendor hall and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've never been to the Congress Center, it's a very long walk. And last year, to get down to the vendor slash gaming hall, you went down this like escalator that was pretty quickly, and there was never really a line.
Yep.
But it was very strange this year, I thought. I think this will be most people's feedback to MomoCon, honestly, is in order to get to the vendor hall, you have to walk all the way down to the other end of the main, of basically the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
And it just dawned on me. I don't remember ever actually seeing signage telling you that. There were maps that made absolutely zero sense, and architects can attest to this.
Yep.
That they made zero sense. But now I'm thinking about it, it was always like, I remember on Friday, it was like, hey, what are you all going down there for? Oh, the vendor hall. But like, I don't remember actually seeing signs telling you that's where you had to go. Everyone just kind of eventually figured it out.
Yep.
And also the escalators you would have taken last year, and it looks like you should be able to use, have zero signage. And so you're like, oh, there's an escalator I can go down. You try going down there, and the security people, I preface by saying it's not their fault, but the security people are like, no, you can't come down this way. And you're like, why not? Because you have to go all the way down there. Whereas if they just had a sign saying, it still would have been just as silly, but they should at least had a sign saying, don't use this, keep on walking. So the fact you had to walk all the way down was an interesting choice. That would be the one thing I would probably say they need to rework is how to get down there. Because what also happened was, especially on Friday, you end up getting this super long line to get down to the vendor hall.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happened is people would take like literally the 10-minute walk to get from the escalator down to the entrance. And it's like, hell no, I'm not walking all the way back to get in line. So it became like this weird amoeba of people who are walking down there to figure out what the hell's going on. And then people who are waiting in line.
Yep.
Where there was no official line and people just figured out like, I guess it's the line. So that became like super duper awkward. The same thing actually kind of happened to me so I tried to go into a panel on Saturday about droids.
Mm-hmm.
But like, again, there was no signage. We all just asked each other like, hey, what are you in line for? I think it's the droid panel. But like, there's never actually any official, like, one thing I'll say like Dragon Con did very well is even the small panels, there was always like volunteer personnel there, like directing you towards like the end of the lines. And some of them are short. I know most of them are, but some are short. And still have like people be like, hey, here's the end of the line, here's the queue, etc. And I felt like the line queuing at MomoCon is like the one area where they could improve. It's not very good. Now I'll say once you got down to the vendor hall, it was very well laid out. You had lots of space to walk the aisles. That was definitely a complaint last year. I remember that they were super confined in roadblocks. This year, super laid out. They moved the wrestling ring area, which was awesome. Like the wrestling itself was really good. And they moved it to like its own section, which was great because last year it was like randomly in the middle of like 3 aisles of the artist alley. And it sucked because it became this weird mass of people. Mm-hmm. They had the really good, I thought I don't know if you actually checked out the car show, but like the car show was good. So like everything about the basement was phenomenal. Like once you got down there, it was great.
Yeah.
It was just the process of getting down there was awkward. And I dare say a lot of people at MomoCon, they're going to spend a lot of time down in the basement because now you have wrestling, you have the vendor hall, you have the whole PC gaming stuff. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of stuff. And apparently there's stuff at the Omni, but I don't think anybody actually knew how to get to the Omni.
To totally honest with you, I never figured out how the hell to get over there.
I think it's one of those things where like, because my understanding, the Omni was devoted to like some of the concerts. Like I know there's like a piano concert over there.
Yep.
And then also tabletop RPGs and like Dragon, like D&D and Pathfinder. So if that was your thing, you're probably going to, let's be honest, you're going to figure out how to make your ass over there.
And the main panel.
Oh, thank you. In the main panel. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because I feel like they still had the big panel area in the basement. I never actually saw anything happening there.
No, that was for tournaments.
Oh, is that what that was?
But no one was ever over there.
Okay, I never actually saw anything going on there, so that was awkward. So that's my 2 cents. I definitely enjoyed MomoCon. Um, one thing I did find interesting, not to keep in mind for next year. Well, okay, so as we know, well, if you didn't know, MomoCon is usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Friday being the first day, because the line for getting tickets was also nuts. For pre-registration tickets was also nuts. And we think it's probably just because you basically had all Thursday and Friday people condensed into Friday.
Right.
What ended up happening, I also found out, is at the vendor hall, all of like the good stuff was gone by Friday afternoon. So like any of like the really cool, unique stuff, particularly from like the individual artist, like stuff was already sold out by Friday afternoon. I was like, huh. So I thought that was just kind of like an interesting thing, but that's good because it means that business was booming for vendors.
Right.
All right. What were your thoughts, Mr. Charlie?
Okay, so so mine are a little bit slightly different simply because I was media. So I got to see and hear things a little bit differently than Zelius did. The first thing is, and this, I don't know how you rectify this or not, but you know that MomoCon was basically founded as an anime convention, okay? So there's a huge emphasis on cosplay. Yep. And one of the issues, and usually at these type of conventions, you have when you're basically, you know, just going all out on your cosplay, you want to have professional photographers take your pictures. So it elevates your cosplay even further. Well, this year, I don't know what happened, but apparently the vast majority of the professional photographers were getting shut down by police and security. The reason behind it was that in years past, one of the more, I guess, favored spots to do it in is there's like this grass area.
Yep.
That's right outside, and it's actually, the grass area is actually built on top of the red deck, which one day I would love to be able to park there again instead of the yellow deck, but or the yellow lot, but that's a different story. But apparently, professional photographers who did not have press credentials, I just want to preface that. These are the guys that just come in, they have their sign-up sheet. Usually they're all filled up by the time they get to the convention, and they take their pictures in that grassy area. Because they didn't have one of the reasons that they were getting, I don't want to say accosted, but they were basically getting shut down by the cops and security, was that you are not allowed to take a picture that may have the State Farm signage in the background, the Mercedes-Benz signage in the background, or the Georgia World Congress Center signage in the background.
What?
Yep. Now, apparently, the media relations tried to talk to the police officers and all that stuff several times, but so a lot of cosplayers who were banking on having these professional photo shoots, I think some of the photographers got creative and found like a different place to do the pictures, but they weren't able to do it in the setting that they were anticipating.
Now, that is some complete and total BS.
Yes.
Like, I understand that companies want to control their IPs, but when you're outside in a space like that, it should be able to be in the background.
Right.
Like, to me, that's crap. Like, that is not.
But here's the funny thing. If you were just out there taking pictures with your iPhone, you were being stopped. It was only the people with like the professional equipment that were getting targeted. Because they probably thought it was for prop.
I'm guessing it's because of money.
Yes.
And I would also say, though, what a complete and total waste of cop resources.
Yes.
Like, I mean, like, of all the things cops, and it's, to preface, I'm not talking about the local cop. Like, I'm sure they had no choice.
Right.
But whoever high up made that decision to allocate those resources to freaking photographers at MomoCon. when we have much more pressing needs in the city of Atlanta than that.
Yes. The other thing is that there were quite a few cosplayers that were, while in the convention, they
Mhm.
ran into an issue with, let's see, some cosplayers to enhance their persona, their ensemble. They have like music devices on them, and so they'll be playing music. And apparently the vast majority of the Georgia World Congress Center security made them turn off their music. They were not allowed to play their music while they were moving around.
To be honest, that one I'm actually kind of okay with. Like, I remember when I was staying in like line for tickets, like
Yeah.
people have like their Bluetooth speaker playing music. I'm
Yeah.
like, really? So that one I'm okay with. Actually, that one doesn't bother me as much.
To be honest with you, I think for me, it's all about the volume of the music, right?
Yeah, that's
if,
fair.
If you
Yeah,
are blaring it and I can hear it from like a floor away, then it's too loud. But if it's something that you've got to be within, let's say, 6 feet of somebody, you got to be you got to be within like talking distance with that person. Then I think that I'm a little bit more lenient on that. But however, that was not the case, and a lot of people were not happy about that.
Yeah.
Now, Zealius was talking about the weird lines getting
So I'll say, sorry, one more quick thing about cosplay. I was talking to a friend about this, and and this isn't a negative about MomoCon, but so one of the things I do a lot of at Dragon Con is take photographs of cosplayers.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much a thing. And like MomoCon has like a weird vibe to me where it's not as just the way MomoCon is laid out. It's not very conducive to taking pictures of cosplayers. Yeah. I think it's because either you're in the vendor hall, and the vendor hall just sucks to take pictures of cosplayers because nobody wants to there. Understandably so. Like, they're shopping, they got shit. So it's not blaming them. It's either that or like they're going to like a panel or something. Like, there's not a lot of great hangout places at MomoCon, whereas like that's kind of like what you do at Dragon Con, and that's not a criticism at all. It's just a different vibe in that regard, which to me is kind of unfortunate because MomoCon, there were some phenomenal cosplayers.
Yes.
But just with kind of the vibe and the way it's laid out, just never really got a chance to take pictures.
Yeah, I think the only real time that you would get a chance to take pictures are like the massive group pictures. You know?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, you could probably sneak in, but like, just taking like individual sneak pictures, like there's just not a good, or like they'll be outside already doing photo shoots with somebody else. And at that point, it's just really bloody awkward to be like, oh, can I take a picture too?
Right.
That's actually not like, nobody's watching. That's not the way to do it.
Right. No. So
you're saying, back to lungs.
Okay. So, I too will agree about the queuing up for panel rooms. I understand that there is a bigger emphasis on certain rooms than other rooms, and so like the smaller rooms, they may not be, as high on the radar and whatnot. And the other thing is because of the layout, a lot of people will, if they need a second to cool off or to rest, they'll just sit down against a wall. And a lot of people are like, are you in line or are you just chilling? Because it's hard to tell because of the way they're positioned right outside the rooms.
No, I 100% agree.
That being said, I only went to, let's see here. I think every single panel I went to, I recorded. So I ended up going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels. They were, and I don't know if I like I said, I recorded all of them. I could tell you that making it in indie games, that one is up. I'll be posting that on social media soon. And then game development and esports in Georgia, that one as well. I really do want to. I think the next one I'm going to work on is streaming outside of gaming, which was a really good one for anyone who's aspiring, who wants to start streaming. So a lot of good advice. Hopefully the audio is good on that.
Nice.
what was I going to say? But you know, and every single one of those, it wouldn't, you know, I it's not like people got lost, but at the same time, I could totally understand that. I think one of the things is that some of the rooms were a little bit harder to find than others, and then also I'm I was not a huge fan of the way that the app handled the panels this year. I feel like in the past they've actually listed who at least the moderator is for the panel.
Hmm.
So I had no idea what the panel was. And oh, by the way, if you go to the website, you couldn't get any additional information. The website only gave you the spreadsheet that just told you the time and the name of the time, place, and name of the panel. No information about it.
There indeed was not a lot of information. The other thing that they need to do, I think,
Yeah.
is have a rate the panel.
Yeah.
Like, because the panel I went to, nobody ever showed up. And by nobody, I mean the actual moderator person never showed up.
And
So I don't even know if anybody from MomoCon knows that. So there
Right.
needs to be some kind of feedback system to be like, hey, in the future, just so you know, this person didn't show up, so you probably don't want to have them as a panelist next year.
well, the thing is that the rate the panel is unfortunately it falls to a MomoCon volunteer, and it's random. It's not. It's there's not a volunteer in every single panel that's doing the rating. It's just a random. I wonder if it's they're doing a if this is the first run of a panel or something. I don't know.
It
But
should just be built into the app, though. Like on the
Yeah.
app, like that's other conventions have that built into the app. So you go to it and you can rate the panel from there.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't seem. They give me hell, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I think
I-
also, in my personal opinion, I'm not going to name which panel I'm talking about, but I felt like even though it looked like the panelists were prepared, it was more of a love fest. You know, I want to talk about my favorite stuff and not really what the subject of the panel was supposed to be about. But maybe that's just me.
I think it's also like depending on the convention you go to.
Yeah.
What is the level of their need for panelists?
Right.
And so, like MomoCon is probably, and this isn't criticism, but they're probably just more on the level of like, hey, if you want to do a panel, come and do it. Basically, like if we have space, we'll make it work. Where there's other conventions who have full panels,
Mhm.
and so you actually, have to submit and have like an outline of what you're talking about.
Right.
I think to your point, to make sure it's actually relevant content, or you have a plan versus just being a love fest. Which, to be fair, some people might want to just go to a love fest panel. I don't know.
Well, you know, it would have been nice to have a better understanding. Some of the descriptions were misleading,
Mm.
and so when I went in there thinking it was one thing, it was absolutely another thing. So, anyways, Zelius made mention of the awkwardness it was to get down to the vendor hall, and that actually became a huge issue on Saturday, where you had a ton of people right after 4:00. You had a ton of people trying to get up from the vendor hall. You had a ton of people going down to the vendor hall. You had a ton of people trying to get up to the third floor for panels, or basically to go to panel areas. And so because you had to go the entire distance of Hall B to actually get to the last set of escalators, so you go down there. The way that the footprint is laid out, it actually kind of it shrinks as it gets close to that set of escalators, and it caused all kinds of issues. Apparently, there was quite a few individuals who passed out as a result because of just being packed in like sardines.
Damn.
Now, MomoCon tried desperately, and I think they finally got enough people to squeeze to one side, so that the other side can go. And so there was a defined, this is going away from the vendor hall, this is going towards the vendor hall type of flow. They did change things up a bit on Sunday to try to slow down that kind of congestion. But it wasn't an immediate thing. It was something that was added in as the day went on because it started happening again. Not to the level of Saturday, but yeah.
And was it so? And from what I saw, the line going to the vendor hall on Friday, it wasn't even like a Dragon Con thing where it's like they literally only let so many people in per a minute or an hour.
Right.
It was literally just as fast as an escalator can go for the amount of traffic.
Yep.
So at that point, like if it's not a number of people in the vendor hall issue, why not just open up the second set of elevators? I mean, you can alternate. We're like, okay, we'll do this for 10 minutes. Now go to
yeah.
Probably there could have been a system there if it was not that, because I didn't see from what I saw, they were not stopping people from like, okay, we have to wait 10 minutes for people to egress out. It was just that's literally as fast as people could get down the escalator. So at that point, yeah. And the other thing that would have also been very beneficial is better signage, because in the B hall basement, like unless you knew where to go, nobody knew where there was another set of escalators you could have taken up, but nobody knew how to get to them. So like having signage be like, hey, there's another set of escalators over here, so you're not waiting in line 10 minutes to get out of here.
Right.
So that'd be I think that's my biggest suggestion next year for MomoCon is better signage.
Right. Yeah.
Because then it was also like getting up to the third and first floor. The first set of escalators going up when you go all the way to the end were always backed up. But if you just continued walking about 20 feet to the second set of escalators, there was nobody in line.
Yep.
So just like little awkward things like that, where it's like, yeah, that's what made it interesting at times.
Well, and the other thing, and Zelius hinted at this, MomoCon is usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. And this year it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I cannot tell you how much stuff and how many of the big names left on Sunday. Like the wrestling completely packed up and left as the vendor hall was closing on Sunday. So there was no wrestling on Monday. A lot of the stars left. They were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday. But the amount of stuff definitely shrank for Monday.
I wonder if they had any discussions about just doing it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not do it. I imagine I'd be really curious to see what the head count looked like on Monday. Because like Sam says, Bad and Brew closed on Monday. People expect MomoCon to be closed on Monday. So I really wonder like what the actual head count coming in on Monday was.
Right.
Now, part of the issue probably be financial because they're expecting X amount of dollars from the 4-day pass. Also, if you go to a 3-day pass, then you have to reduce the price by 25%, et cetera. So I'm sure that was part of the issue. But like, so some conventions like Dragon Con, like, it's open Monday. Like that's normal. Like now a lot of people don't go on Monday, but it's still open. But like MomoCon, you just don't expect to be open on Monday anyways. So I really wonder if it was worthwhile still having it on Monday.
Well, I think it comes down to the point, the programming portion. I think that they just had programming for 4 days. That's always how they've set it up, is that they do certain events on certain days. And I just think that because of the slight 1-day change, it really mucked a lot with what was going to be there on the last day.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll say overall, it was another, I thought, great MomoCon. Definitely enjoyed my time there. And I think I shall be looking forward to a MomoCon 2025 is my current plan.
Yes. And speaking of MomoCon 2025, they've already got the date, of course, locked in, which is going to be Thursday, May the 22nd to Sunday, May the 25th, 2025.
Nice. They have it for their normal days.
Yes. Apparently, one of the reasons why they weren't able to have the Thursday slot had to do, I think, with where the vendor hall was, or that hallway where the wrestling was, or maybe the
Which,
combination of
with the
both.
way it was set up, you had to take in that hallway to get to
Yep.
the vendor hall.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty important hallway because that's also where Wild Bill's root beer was, where I had 6 full cups on Saturday when it was glorious.
Yeah, Thomas, the other gentleman that was helping me out, and I thought about going for Zelius' record, and then after 2 rounds, we were like, this is stupid. We're not going to do this.
That's probably a wise choice. It's my so the one day at MomoCon is my one day of soda binging, where I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna, because it's also all you can drink.
Right.
And so I tried to get my money's worth of drinking way too much beer, for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, since we've basically spent the entire first half of the show talking about MomoCon, we're going to stop for a second to do Friends of the Show, and then we'll do the rest of the topics. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about the individuals who help make Ultra Confusion the Ultra Confusion that you love and adore. And let's start off with a group that was at MomoCon, that, of course, is the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships with local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. Now, for the next shout out, it's to a gentleman who probably would have had to mess with the Atlanta PD this time around. That, of course, but he is an amazing AV guy, and that, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously Wet Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. The next shout out we got to give is to a gentleman who is actually at my house tonight to help ease some of those aches and pains, especially from all that extra walking I did at MomoCon. That, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They're committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com.
So you talk about steps, maybe just think, I totally forgot to check my step counter at MomoCon.
Oh, dude, I put in 3 times my normal amount each day.
Which is so how many did you put on Saturday? Do you remember approximately?
Hold on. I will tell you real quick.
Now I'm trying to find it to see if I can look back, because I wish I'd thought of it until like now.
I had 20,000 steps.
Nice.
All right. The next shout out we got to give is to the Music Maestro himself. And that, of course, is Crosspad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content. Just like Ultra Confusion, Crosspad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. The final shout out we got to give is to the original backer of Ultra Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both a development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I know at this very moment you're like, but how do I become a friend of the show? Well, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives and loves support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, werewolves, swamp creatures, vampires, mummies, supporters, and more to become active participants of the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have two different pledge levels. There is the $1 a month, that's $1 a month or $12 a year. And what that gets you is early access to all of our playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in patron-only posts. Now, if you're feeling extra frisky and you want your name to be highlighted in every single Thursday Night Hangout, that's the $5 a month. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only get you everything at the $1 level, but you gain your name or organization added to the Friends of the Show section of every single Thursday Night Hangout. So if you want to become a patron of Alter Confusion, all you got to do is go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion today. Now, of course, the next thing we got to yell and scream about, something we're always so very proud of, and that's Alter Confusion is proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 13 years straight. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion today.
Now to give one more shout out, as one of the people who was at MomoCon was Craig Campbell of Nerdburger Games, as he's promoting his phenomenal games such as Capers. Yeah. So definitely check him out in his games that use a lot of decks of 54 cards instead of dice, which I think is a pretty fun system myself.
Yes, and also he's been doing a lot of GM-less systems as of late, which makes it even easier for individuals to pick up and start the fun.
Well, but when I get angry at a game, I want to get angry at the GM because it's not my own fault or choice that my compatriot was eaten by a dumpster. Okay. I want to be able to blame the GM for poor decision making.
Look, I messed up, and I threw the flaming Molotov cocktail into the dumpster. It wasn't my damn fault that I didn't know that the dumpster was alive and the tentacles came out and grabbed me and burned me to death within the dumpster, okay? Let's move on.
If you'd been smart, you would have rage quit at the GM because clearly it was their fault.
Absolutely. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's actually move on to some other topics of things that have occurred. And let's start off with something that is going to make, I think, quite a few people's wallets much lighter. And that is that Kingdom Hearts is coming to Steam. June 13th.
Man, I remember back in college watching my roommate playing Kingdom Hearts on the PS2. Yeah, the original Kingdom Hearts.
So, so Steam will offer Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3 with DLC on June 13th. And,
can I just say that Kingdom Hearts naming other games is absolutely the dumbest thing ever.
It's about on par with the Xbox naming scheme.
I was so confused because I got it for the PlayStation and I saw Kingdom Hearts 1.5.
Yeah.
And like the amount of research I had to do to be like,
is this the right
Kingdom
one?
Hearts 1.5 actually Kingdom Hearts 1? Because it's not very clearly explained like anywhere.
Yep.
That is basically the HD version. So like the way they name their stuff, I'm like, really, people? You couldn't just call it like Final Fantasy. Kingdom Hearts 1 like HD or remake like every other bloody video game.
Yeah.
And are they also going to offer like a compendium explaining the craziness that is Kingdom Hearts lore and story?
No, you just have to figure that on your own. That's what wikis are for, sir.
Oh, good. That goes down in a deep and dark alley, man.
And of course, also remember, ladies and gentlemen, that Kingdom Hearts 4 is still in development. So for those out there who need the latest chapter, I've heard that this time around for Kingdom Hearts 4, not only will you get your normal Disney worlds, but I've heard rumors that Marvel and Star Wars are going to be involved in the upcoming Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, it's all Disney, so why the heck not? Just go full native.
So you could definitely have Yoda, and I'll be very interested to see what Marvel. It's probably just going to be the Avengers.
Wolverine, yeah, definitely Captain America, Iron Man,
The Hulk,
Black Widow.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what capacity they are involved in the game. Also,
Yes.
like I have only played Kingdom Hearts 1, to be honest. So, like other Kingdom Hearts for your companions, like, can you just get more than Goofy and who's your other companion?
Donald.
Yeah, like, do you get other companions? I guess all I'm wondering is, if you go to these other worlds, are you going to be able to get like Hawkeye as a companion?
I think
Or
that
is it just
I think you gain them as a companion for that world.
hmm?
I think it's been a
Interesting.
long time.
It has been a long time. I bought it because I'm like, I'm going to play this.
Yeah.
But then other games happened.
Isn't that always the case?
Yeah,
Those damn other games are just, oh,
they just keep on needing to be played. They sleep to me they talk to me while I sleep.
exactly. Now, speaking of Steam, let's talk about this weird rumor that popped up. I can't remember when exactly it popped up.
No, if it's rumor theory, I think you're going to say it's just going to make me cry.
There is a rumor out there that there is a big bad company that is readying a $16 billion bid to acquire Valve and Steam. Now, of course, the company that is rumored to be doing this is the one and only Microsoft.
You know what still pisses me off to this day is BattleNet still cannot remember my bloody password when I wake up from sleep or restart my computer. I always have to log back in, and this is after like having done like a full like new PC build last year. It's the same damn thing, whereas Steam just works. Anyways, rant over.
Yeah, you know, if you thought that Microsoft was getting in all kinds of shit and trouble for the Blizzard and Activision acquisition, if Microsoft were to try to pull this off, man.
Okay. I don't even care about the obvious antitrust angle. It's more so that there's like one beacon of actual good user experience in the entire like landscape of the PC multiverse.
Yep.
And it's bloody Steam. And good Lord, you know, not just Microsoft, any company, if they're to buy Steam, would completely fuck it up. Like it would never be the same because every other bloody launcher sucks.
Yeah. No,
they just all do.
I have this bad feeling that I know that, you know, I have this bad feeling that they keep the name for name recognition, and then they would basically tear a lot of the shit behind the scenes down for spare parts.
Oh, it would be very cannibalized. It would also become a new advertising front. And don't get me wrong, like obviously Steam has ads, like, you know, get it.
Yeah.
But it becomes so much worse than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is it's going to happen someday. Like someday, I'm sorry, I love him, but Gabe's going to pass away, and it's going to become a publicly traded company, and it's all going to go downhill from there. And the core gaming experience, the core user experience of games just working, and like what I think is a good user experience, it's going to stop when somebody buys it. It's inevitable because once it happens.
Right. And the thing is, if Microsoft were to do this, they literally would own PC digital distribution.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, like obvious antitrust aside, because it's an obvious antitrust issue of every possible way. But time and time again, regulations have shown that they don't actually care about that.
It's all about the green, my friend. It's all about the green.
You just gotta lubricate the green in the correct locations.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, this is just a rumor. Okay, let's. This is a rumor. There is no one at Microsoft is saying anything. Valve's not saying anything. It's just a rumor that's out there that people are starting to talk about. So,
I'm sure, I'm betting that, every once in a while, the Microsofts, the Amazons, hell, the Sonys, wonder, can I buy Steam today?
Yeah.
That has to be a pondering.
Yes.
But I also haven't really seen, I know you posted that, but I haven't seen much news or rumor since then. So I'm taking it with a giant grain of salt that it's not going to happen today.
Right.
But I still think it's inevitable that it's sometime in our life, Steam's going to be bought out and no longer. What I think is key is a privately held. It is privately held, right?
Yes,
it's not publicly traded.
That's one of the reasons why it would complicate things because
that's the key. Is it's a privately held company, and as long as that's true, they continue to do their thing because they're not reliant on magical infinite growth every year to keep the not shock holders, the oh, good Lord.
Stock.
Thank you. The stock holders happy and complacent. Yeah. So as long as that continues, we're good. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So a game that that I played a ton of, that did get beaten up a lot in the early days, and has improved, and in my opinion, ended up being a much better, same kind of game as Starfield, but did a much better job in the end. Or I guess Starfield is still trying to fix everything, but there's No Man's Sky. And apparently there is a new patch in No Man's Sky for those who want the true survivalist experience, and that is basically it takes away everybody but you from the entire universe.
Oh.
And it's just you trying to survive on your. There's no shops. There's none of that stuff. It's just you having to build and create your own stuff and survive. And there's the bug pods are rapidly spreading across the universe, so you have to deal with those.
So I saw this week on Steam, their big front page advertising is for Open World Survival Crafting Fest. I've tried a okay number, not a lot, but a fair number of survival type of games. I've never got very far because I have one big hang up that all these games basically require you to do to be successful, which I just don't enjoy in games. It's crafting. I just don't really enjoy crafting in video games. It's not my thing. But the problem is that I encounter in all these survival games, which makes sense because it's a survival game, to be fair, is you have to craft a not insignificant amount in order to have any kind of progress. So I saw once I saw it was for survival crafting games. I'm like, nope, I just know this isn't my genre. I've tried, been there, done that. And I'm just meh. I'm going to prefer games like a Witcher or Hogwarts where you have crafting type of things, but it's completely optional. Right. You can check into them. There's obviously skill trees and et cetera to use better potions or better plants and other shit like that. But you have other options that you can do if you just want to basically completely ignore that other stuff, which is what I do in those games. But in a survival crafting game, that's the genre. It's nope, you better craft and you better damn well like it, bro.
Here's the my problem with survival crafting game. I'm okay with crafting as long as it's not like you have to collect 10 rocks to make a single arrowhead or some weird ass shit like that. And also, I'm not the type of person who finds games where I have to keep an eye on my body temperature, my thirst level, my hunger level, and my energy level. That just drives me up a wall. I just my way of survival is I'll build the shit to keep things from killing me, but I cannot. I, don't- I I no. This is
No,
why I
it
don't
is.
like The Sims.
You used to make fun of me for this because it's true.
Yeah.
Is when it comes to like RPGs, I'm like, Zilius want to go smash. Zilius skip quest dialogue. I don't care. I just want to go destroy things.
Yeah.
I feel the same way in survival games because survival games, they always have like combat RPG elements.
Yeah.
I just want to go Hulk smash things. I
Yeah.
don't want to spend half my time crafting shit. It's like the same thing. Like in this analogy, crafting is the storyline. I don't want to do crafting. I just want to go blow shit up.
Mhm.
So it's kind of the same thing in a way where like that's actually I started replaying a lot of Diablo 4.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons I like it is you just go in and you just go kill a lot of evil, bad things. And it's just mindless hitting, button mashing, and you just kill a lot of things. And that's enjoyable. That's why I wanted my video games personally.
But of course, I basically get the same experience out of Hades too. Yes, there is some ingredients gathering in order to unlock stuff, but that does not stop you from just constantly going down into the depths as you try to get back to the land of Hades, and kill lots of bad guys.
And you're right. Like, I don't mind the concept of gathering in general, doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Diablo 4, you have herbs and ores, and, enemies drop stuff. You have to pick it up, and you have to, like, you do craft elixirs and stuff. So, like, little crafting like that, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But I think it's different in a survival game because, like, I literally stop and, like, the crafting takes me out of the world, which in some ways an intentional design choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. Like that's part of what that game is you're taken out of the combat, or it might actually be in combat too, depending on the game. But like it's an actual core integral part is that crafting. Like if I want to do crafting type of things, I'm gonna go play like Civ 4 or play like a city builder game.
Right.
Where like or like Banished, like something like that, where it's like that's what I'm doing is I'm building stuff. I guess I'm just that big in combining the two, because if I play a action game, I just want to
action
kill. Yeah,
understood. So real quick, the name of the actual update to No Man's Sky is called Adrift, and it's based around a single idea: what if the entire universe was completely empty? Adrift is a kind of parallel dimension where players can explore the game's subterranean worlds, multiple galaxies, and infinite planets without ever meeting a single other life form.
Interesting.
There are no shops, there's no trading, no shortcuts, no help. You are alone, and there's now gigantic sandworms that now roam free across various landscapes. And those fiend eggs, those like insectoid eggs, are spreading across the universe. Everything else is abandoned, rusted, and ghostly.
I mean, if you're into the game, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, slightly related because it's set in space.
Yes.
Star Citizen,
a
game that was the CEO said would be finished and ready with everything promised by 2018. Still not released, has passed the $700 million fundraising and donation threshold.
And I, at some point in the early days, threw in $125.
I remember watching you play it at one of the Child's Place.
I played it for a very short amount of time because my computer couldn't handle it. Because it's broken as shite.
The consensus I've seen behind Star Citizen, because I always get intrigued when I read about it, is it's fun and interesting to play, but like in short bursts.
Yeah.
It's like one of those games, like check back every 6 months and see what they've added. And they probably added something cool, play for a bit, and then try it again in 6 months.
That's all right.
Yeah. I mean, it should be like, it is a poster child of Future Creep.
Yes, this is true.
Something we saw a little bit of games at MomoCon, maybe.
Yes. Yes.
What did you think of the indie game showcase at MomoCon?
You mean the
video games in general that they had for the, I call it the indie showcase, but the video game, whatever you want to call it, showcase.
You mean the indie cluster?
No, just all the
booths.
The different.
I kind of wish that they had the award show back. They used to have an award show, although one of the reasons why they stopped doing it is because everybody who won the awards didn't actually attend the convention. They just submitted their game.
Huh. Interesting.
I think if they were to ever do the award ceremony, you would have to be required to actually be present at the convention.
I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation.
Yeah. But there were some interesting games. In years past, we have prided ourselves in trying to interview individuals there to talk about their game. Alter Confusion has changed strategies. We basically talked to a bunch of the booths, and we're going to try to set up virtual interviews so that we can get their best and they can get our best, because not gonna lie, but after 2 full days of a convention, sometimes your energy level is just not there. There are individuals who have energy for days, but then there are other people who get a little bit run down. So in order to give the best from both sides, we're going to do virtual interviews.
The one thing I did find interesting is I played a fair number of the video games. I felt like in the past, a lot of the games were like near completion, if not basically ready to release. Yeah. I felt like most of the video games I played this year were like not even ready for basically early access. Like they were alpha builds basically. I get it was probably to get people drummed up in their interest.
Yeah.
But my conundrum, like, it's hard to judge a game and give it a proper feedback when like there really isn't, when it's not even close to a finished product.
Right.
So it's like, because there was that card game we played, or I played the game and you actually did an interview there, where I gave like
whatever.
What?
I think it was called Agilius, maybe.
Yeah, it was a funky pronunciation. That's why I probably can't remember it. But like that game is obviously near finished. So I gave some pretty candid feedback to the guy, which he was thankful for. Like for instance, like there's text on the card that's either action, like this is the ability, or like it's just information, like a quote. I didn't even notice until we're done finished because the text is almost identical.
Gotcha.
And so my feedback was like, hey, in the future, you need to like differentiate these texts.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So like, but the game was so close to being finished, where like I felt comfortable giving feedback.
Right.
Because it's obvious they were in that stage of like, hey, we're done. We're finishing up our touches.
Yeah.
Where so many of the games were so early where I'm like, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, it's an interesting concept and idea, but my feedback at this point isn't going to really do any good.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I totally forgot what I was going to say. But yes.
Something about the potato game.
No, but we will be interviewing those individuals as well.
I have to ask about the art.
It's awesome art.
Well, Sophie, did you notice how they chose their art? Because it was interesting, and this is what I'm actually curious about, is like every one of their cards is based off of a very popular artist
Yes.
and like their popular work,
Yep.
and like how did they choose to go down that motif? So the game is based off potatoes, and
It's
so they did a potato riff of all of
it's
those.
an
I'm
auctioneer game.
So I'm really fascinated though. Like I'm really curious. Like is somebody on the team like an art history major,
Mm-hmm.
or like somebody actually have like an art background
Right.
that kind of gave him that impetus? Because you don't see that, and it's really cool. Like I thought it was neat,
Yeah.
but I'm really curious about their background and what made them choose to go down that route
Mhm.
of those different art pieces, and like why did they choose these specific pieces?
Right.
Because I was fascinated by that. I thought that was cool.
So we talked about Kingdom Hearts coming to the PC, but there's another big name game that has been announced to be going to the PC, and that of course is that God of War Ragnarok is coming.
I did not see that.
God of War Ragnarok is confirmed. It will be September 19th, 2024.
Interesting.
Now, the question that's on everyone's mind and has not been confirmed nor denied is: are we going to see a PSN requirement?
Oh, I mean that's a PlayStation exclusive,
Yes.
or I should say was.
Yeah.
So, but I would say I know we're referring to the Helldivers 2 fiasco.
Yep.
Helldivers 2, at least somewhat in Sony's defense, is it's an online game.
Yep.
Whereas Ragnarok, I've played it. I don't recall any multiplayer experience. Not even like Mass Effect 3, where you had the random bullshit war built into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall any multiplayer reasoning for it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony still dictates it because it's Sony. I think the difference is if they do it at launch. Like if they launched God of War, and it already has that PSN requirement, then I don't really. You're gonna have obviously there's gonna be a minority of people who are all like, but if it's at launch, most people aren't gonna really care. It's when you change like halfway through a game cycle and all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way. Now, to be fair, it's also dumb. I'm echoing Charlie here now. It's a single player only game, and you're required to have an account associated with it for online play. Is also dumb in the first place.
Yes. Always online bullshit.
Yeah. Now, the other game, I don't know if you saw is coming to Steam or has been released on Steam, is Ghost of, is it Shumima? I don't actually know how to pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
But yes, apparently a very awesome game that I have also not played. If you're into the whole Souls-like type of games, which we all know Charlie loves.
Oh, yeah, let me tell you.
Okay, to be fair, I also gave up on Bloodborne after like the first boss because I couldn't get past the damn dogs. So I am not really one to talk.
Yeah. Freaking soul-like games. Hey, if you excel at those, bravo to you. I just can't.
The problem is like they're all so pretty and everyone talks so greatly about them where I'm always like so tempted to go play them. I'm always like, Zelius, you know you're terrible at these games. Is it really worth it? But what is it? The one I do want to play is Stellar Blade because it has a difficulty level. So unlike Souls, where it's just, haha, fuck you, you're going to die, Stellar Blade, you can at least change the difficulty mountain, which apparently on easy is still hard. But you can at least tone it down a little.
Well, you know.
A little.
Just a bit.
It makes me feel a little bit better. Or will I feel worse when I still die endlessly on easy mode?
Or will you feel terrible? There's a... there is a... I freaking love these guys do a bunch of like gamer related videos called Viva La League.
Yes.
And they have the difficulty slider for like some like Dark Lord or Death Lord General or something. and it's this guy like in normal mode. He's got this like flaming sword, and he kills the adventurer, and the adventurer keeps dying over and over again. So he's basically said screw it, and he turns it to easy. And then the big bad guy's got like a wooden spoon. He's got like a black lung. He's coughing up a storm. He's got glasses on because he could barely see. He's lost all his armor, and and he kills the guy, and then everybody in town shames him for it. Like, I hope you're happy, adventurer.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. I love their videos. They're quite entertaining. And they're usually very like spot on too.
Yes.
Like you watch like, oh yeah, that's super accurate actually. And now that I'm thinking about it, totally dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could spend an entire afternoon just watching Viva La League videos.
Agreed.
Because there's so many good ones. Anyways. Yeah. I don't really have anything else. I mean, I had a couple more stories, but I don't think we have enough time to really go into them. Unless Zelius really wants to go into another story.
I got nothing else on my brain. My brain's, I don't know what my brain is.
Yeah. Well, let's just we'll say this one real quick, and that is that apparently, for a while, YouTube, if you were a YouTube Premium subscriber, you had access to these like games that you could play in the browser, but now everyone can, and they're not allowed to sell them. They're because of the Apple App Store's regulations. But you could play the game in the YouTube app or games, and apparently everyone's basically saying, it's like back in the early 2000s where you would go on your smart-enabled device and play a game on a website. That's basically the equivalent.
Congregate.
Yeah, exactly. Congregate.
It still confuses me because I watched Netflix on my iPad at lunch, and it still boggles my mind. When I load Netflix, and the first thing on the first line is always the games I can play on Netflix.
Yep.
I'm like, no, I'm not going to play a game on Netflix on my iPad.
Well, no, it takes you to the App Store. Then you'll play it on. You're not going to play it in Netflix. You're going to play it. But
clearly, I've never tried.
But you have to have the Netflix account in order to access the game's app page.
Oh, it just gets dumb and dumber.
They're giving you special games, Zelius. Come on now.
Yeah, I think I'll just go stick to killing big, bad, evil demons in Diablo 4.
And to be honest with you, the vast majority of the games that I play on my my iPhone, it's word games and Legends of Runeterra.
Oh, you're back to playing Legends of Runeterra?
Yep. They updated the Path of Champions mode, and they've added a couple extra champions, and some of the champions could be upgraded to like insane levels, and so you're like, okay, well, I'm back in.
I haven't played Runeterra since like it literally first came out. I played for like a month and just stopped playing.
For shame, Zelius, for shame.
I'm sorry, man.
But
I'm still waiting for the right MMO to come out in like 2038.
Okay.
They're supposedly working on one. Apparently, they like started from scratch this year again. That's the rumor, at least.
Damn the man.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I think that does it for this week's show. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Fusion Thursday Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zelius, it's been a pleasure giving everything our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Fusion Thursday Night Hangout.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother. And we're out. Oh, I should probably stop the recording button. There we go. Greatly enhances the experience, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you know. Ooh. So I'm happy to find out that the concert I bought tickets for at the Masquerade is sold out.
Ooh, which concert is that?
It's a power metal band. It's the lead is called Powerwolf, and then the opening act is Unleash the Archers.
Interesting.
Powerwolf, their shtick, it's like power metal, but like to the theme, it's almost like mass Gregorian chant style. Not that style, but if you heard it, you'd kind of be like, oh, I see what he's saying.
Gotcha.
Like they did a big thing, like a couple of the like big metal bands that did virtual concerts over COVID, with like big productions, and theirs was called Monumental Mass.
All right.
So that's kind of their style.
Gotcha. The 30th of May.
That is today, right?
Yes.
Okay. I get confused these days.
Yes, our advanced age does seem to get in the way.
All
right. Well, let's end the stream. I got to talk